Think the world's largest stadium is in the United States? Michigan Stadium, with over 100,000 seats. SoFi Stadium, a marvel of cutting-edge technology. Or AT&T Stadium, the glitzy icon of American football and Texas swagger. That's what Americans often assume, that if there's a venue big enough, expensive enough, and jaw-dropping enough to command global attention, it's got to be somewhere in the USA. Think again. By 2028, a new stadium will rise from the sands of Mansouria, less than an hour's drive from Casablanca. When it's complete, it will claim the title of the world's largest stadium, not in New York, Los Angeles, or Las Vegas, but in Morocco, a country that has never hosted a World Cup and was rejected 5 times in a row during bidding wars. The world was stunned. Morocco wasn't. They've been dreaming this dream for too long, too deeply, to keep waiting for permission. They stopped asking. They started building. Morocco isn't a latecomer. They were the first to knock. But every time they did, the door slammed shut. In 1994, Morocco entered the race to host the World Cup. They lost by just 3 votes. The dream crumbled, and the World Cup landed in the United States for the first time. In 1998, they tried again. France won. In 2006, Germany took the prize. In 2010, South Africa prevailed. And in 2026, the most painful blow yet, Morocco lost to a joint bid from the USA, Canada, and Mexico, even as FIFA claimed it wanted to diversify host locations. 5 bids, 5 rejections. But instead of giving up, Morocco became relentless. With every defeat, they didn't retreat. They doubled down. They built more stadiums. They upgraded transportation. They modernized airports. They kept pushing, like a marathon runner chasing a finish line that kept moving farther away. Then the unthinkable happened. At the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, Morocco's national team did the impossible. They reached the semifinals. They defeated Belgium, Spain, and Portugal, capturing the world's attention. From underdogs, they became a phenomenon. All of Africa, the entire Arab world, rallied behind them. Morocco was no longer a quiet name in the shadows. They stepped into the spotlight and demanded to be heard. When FIFA announced that the 2030 World Cup would be co-hosted by Spain, Portugal, and Morocco, some were shocked. Morocco wasn't. They'd been waiting for this moment for over 30 years. And now they don't just want to host, they want the final. They want the roar of fans from across the globe in Mansouria, on African soil, on their home turf. Unlike the US, where professional sports thrive on market-driven ecosystems, countries like Morocco, Qatar, and China use sports as a diplomatic tool. They're not just scoring goals, they're scoring points on the global stage. Hosting a World Cup isn't just about celebrating soccer. It's a soft power statement. We're capable, organized, and safe. Invest in us, partner with us, visit us. That's why Hassan II is so significant. It's not just a stadium, it's a national performance amid geopolitical rivals. And so they envisioned a structure, bigger, bolder, the largest on Earth. Hassan II Stadium, with a capacity of 115,000. No grand declarations, no noisy PR campaigns. Morocco answered the world with blueprints, contracts, and a stretch of desert in Mansouria, where their greatest soft power weapon is taking shape. For context, the largest stadium in the US, Michigan Stadium, holds 107,601 fans and serves college football. Morocco is building a 115,000-seat colossus, not for a single team, but to capture the world's gaze. Compare that to England's legendary Wembley Stadium at 90,000 seats, or Qatar's 2022 World Cup final venue, Lusail, at 88,966. Hassan II surpasses them all in size, vision, and sheer audacity. Hassan II isn't just a stadium, it's a declaration. A massive structure rising from the desert, as if Morocco's heartbeat pulses through every beam, concrete slab, an ounce of ambition. The project is located in El Mansouria, a town between Casablanca and Rabat, Morocco's two most vital cities. The location is no accident. It's strategic. Just 30 miles west of Mohammed V International Airport, the main gateway for global visitors. Exactly 30 miles east of Rabat, the political and financial hub. Not in a city center, but at the heart of the nation. A reminder that this isn't just Casablanca's stadium. It belongs to all of Morocco. The design alone explains why it's sparking global curiosity. This isn't a copycat structure. It's a redefinition. The project is led by Populous, the firm behind Wembley, Yankee Stadium, and the Las Vegas Sphere. Partnering with local architecture studio Oualalou Choi, they're not building a monument to show off. They're creating a living icon. The stadium's aluminum roof draws inspiration from the tents of Morocco's nomadic tribes, light, open, and deeply symbolic. Beneath it, hanging gardens are integrated into the structure, thriving on natural light. Fans won't just come to watch a game. They'll enter a space that blends tradition with technology, earth with sky. The stadium isn't just for sports. It's a cultural experience unlike any other. The entire structure is supported by 32 massive staircases, curving like mountain ridges to encircle the arena. And it's not just for the masses. Hassan II caters to the elite too, with 5 tiers of hospitality, from VIP areas and skyboxes to exclusive suites for royalty. Morocco isn't hiding its ambitions. They want world leaders, Fortune 500 CEOs, and soccer superstars to be awestruck when they step inside. All this comes at a cost. The official price tag for Hassan II alone is 5 billion dirhams, roughly 518 million US dollars. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Morocco plans to upgrade 6 other stadiums for the 2030 World Cup, bringing the total cost to about $2.6 billion. Add in infrastructure like airport expansions, high-speed rail extensions, and urban transit upgrades, and the nation is looking at over $5.2 billion. The Moroccan government has committed $2.5 billion. The rest will come from international loans. The African Development Bank has already pledged $650 million. Some reports suggest China could be the next investor. Morocco has deep ties with Beijing, especially in infrastructure, from factories and railways to real estate. China is no stranger to funding African stadiums, having built venues in Angola, Ghana, and Ethiopia. If they back Hassan II, Morocco won't just be building a stadium. They'll be forging a new bridge of influence between Africa and the world. Hassan II is the world's largest stadium, but at its core, it's a message. One built not just with concrete and steel, but with an obsession for recognition. El Mansouria, a name that sounds unremarkable, off the tourist trail, far from the glitz of Casablanca or the power of Rabat. But look closer, and it's anything but ordinary. In Morocco's strategic blueprint, El Mansouria isn't just land, it's leverage. A transit point between the nation's 2 biggest hubs, Casablanca, the financial capital, and Rabat, the political heart. It's just a 30-minute drive from Morocco's largest international airport. It sits on one of Africa's most advanced high-speed rail corridors. And crucially, it's on the Atlantic coast, facing Europe and linked to the world's second busiest maritime trade route. To an American planner, El Mansouria is an ideal inland hub, far enough from congested urban cores, close enough to siphon traffic from 2 megacities. That's why Morocco didn't pick Rabat or Casablanca for the world's largest stadium. They chose the crossroads. The location is also a vivid metaphor for Morocco's geopolitical ambitions, to stand in the middle, between Africa and Europe, between tradition and modernity, between the Arab world and the West. Morocco doesn't just want to be Africa's gateway, they want to be the main stage. And it's happening. As Africa rises as a new market, as Europe grapples with energy crises and migration, as global powers reposition their influence, Morocco doesn't need to be a superpower. They just need to stand in the right place at the right time. Hassan II in this location isn't a stadium on the outskirts. It's a new center. A new city could form around it. A new infrastructure corridor is waiting to be activated by the World Cup's momentum. While in the US, massive stadiums are often built within existing hubs, Morocco is doing the opposite. They're building the hub first, then letting the world find its way there. It's no coincidence that nations like Qatar, China, Brazil, and now Morocco are pouring billions into sports. Behind every colossal stadium, every dazzling World Cup, lies a quiet but potent strategy, crafting a national image. In an era where leaders travel less and World Cup broadcasts reach billions, sports are the fastest way for a nation to speak to the world. Not through politics, not through military might, through emotion. Morocco gets it, and they're playing this game masterfully. Being chosen to co-host the 2030 World Cup with two European nations, Spain and Portugal, isn't just a sporting win. It's the biggest boost to Morocco's global image in 3 decades. But they're not stopping there. Hassan II isn't built for one tournament. It's a long-term tool, a national showroom, a stage for Morocco to host global summits, million-dollar concerts, and intercontinental super cups. A way to tell the world, this is 21st century Morocco. Not just Marrakech markets, not just sand and camels, but technology, design, organization, and stability. In the US, fans of the NFL or NBA might see sports as domestic entertainment. But for nations like Morocco, without Hollywood, Tesla, or Amazon, sports are the foundation of nation branding. The only way to get the world to know you, feel connected to your flag, and book a flight to your country. That's soft power, not measured in weapons, but in its ability to shift how the world perceives you. And that's what Morocco is chasing. Not with guns, with a goal. Hassan II isn't just infrastructure, it's a chess move. A bold play by Morocco in a geopolitical game where soccer is merely the cover. From the moment it was announced, the project sparked debate within the 2030 World Cup Alliance. Spain, with its newly renovated Bernabeu, assumed it deserved the final. But Morocco, with Hassan II taking shape, is flipping the board. Not just with passion, but with a venue unmatched in scale and symbolism. Morocco isn't saying they deserve the final. They're building something FIFA can't ignore. But beneath this rivalry lies another player, China. Over the past decade, China has invested hundreds of billions in Africa, from ports in Djibouti to high-speed rail in Kenya, from power plants in Nigeria to stadiums. At least 10 major African stadiums were built with Chinese loans or aid. If China funds even part of Hassan II, they'll hold a powerful card at the heart of a World Cup co-hosted by the West. A North African stadium hosting the World Cup final, broadcast to billions, built with Chinese money and influence, that's no longer just sports. It's soft power diplomacy unfolding before the world's eyes. And the US and Europe, long the architects of international soccer's order, are facing a new reality. Hosting isn't just about prestige anymore. It's a tool for strategic positioning. Concrete stands are becoming soft podiums no nation can afford to dismiss. Morocco in this game is both host and pawn. They stand in the middle, between Europe and Africa, China and the West, old and new. Every dream has a cost, but sometimes the real price isn't the money spent. It's the question, what's left when you wake up? For Morocco, Hassan II isn't just a stadium. It's a canvas, a portrait painted for the world to admire. But like any portrait, the shadows lurk where the light doesn't reach. First, the human cost. Not the $518 million for the stadium or the $5.2 billion for infrastructure, but the price paid by the people building this dream. Morocco is a major transit point for African migrants heading to Europe. And when you need to build a massive stadium in under 4 years, you need labor. Lots of it. Cheap, fast, and unquestioning. The lessons from Qatar 2022 are still fresh, where the treatment of thousands of migrant workers drew global outrage. Now, some fear Morocco could fall into the same trap. The government promises thousands of jobs, economic growth, and a World Cup that will transform lives. But promises don't pour concrete. No one's verifying the wages or living conditions of the workers sweating in Mansouria. And the clock is ticking. Then there's politics. Some analysts call this sports washing, using sports as a veneer to gloss over cracks in a nation's image. For Morocco, that crack is Western Sahara, a disputed territory it has controlled since 1975, despite international objections and the Sahrawi independence movement. Every major project, every global event, every camera flash pushes Western Sahara's shadow a little further back. The issue doesn't vanish, it's just tucked out of sight. But the biggest risk to Hassan II lies within itself. Even if it's completed on time, even if it hosts the World Cup final, it faces a question no blueprint can answer. Who will fill it afterward? Raja Casablanca, one of the teams slated to use the stadium post-World Cup, averages just 15,000 fans per match, barely 13% of its capacity. Morocco's domestic league lacks the financial ecosystem to sustain a behemoth like Hassan II. No billion-dollar TV deals like the Premier League. No steady stream of tourists like Europe. Visions of a fiery derby in a packed arena could become a sea of empty seats, silent and soulless. And then Hassan II wouldn't be a symbol, it would be a white elephant, a colossal structure abandoned, draining maintenance funds without delivering economic value. But what if they win? What if the dream becomes reality? If in the summer of 2030, millions flock to Morocco, if the World Cup final unfolds in El Mansouria under Hassan II's shimmering aluminum roof, if Morocco's national anthem echoes before 115,000 fans and billions watching worldwide, what then? Every criticism would turn to applause. Every doubt would become proof of resolve. Morocco would no longer be the nation rejected 5 times, but hailed as the most determined nation on earth. If Hassan II avoids becoming a white elephant and becomes a destination, hosting global concerts, UN summits, multinational sports events, African fashion shows, or world music festivals, a new Burj Khalifa, not in Dubai's white sands, but in El Mansouria's red earth. If Morocco becomes a model for a new generation of nations, not as wealthy as Switzerland, not as powerful as the US, but savvy enough to use culture, sports, and strategic positioning to join the global conversation. If they pull it off, this story isn't about a stadium, it's about a transformation. Proof that you don't need to be a superpower to create an icon. And then the world won't ask, why Morocco? They'll ask, how did we not see this coming? Morocco, once sidelined from the feast, will sit at the head of the table. Maybe the real question isn't whether Morocco needs the world's largest stadium, but whether they need a reason big enough to believe in themselves. Because sometimes a dream doesn't need to succeed, it just needs to be big enough to make a nation stand tall. If you've read this far, you're probably like us, not just intrigued by the numbers or stunning architecture, but captivated by the dream rising in the desert. So what do you think? Is Morocco building a wonder that will reshape Africa's image? Or are they gambling their nation on a dream that might not come true? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And if you found this story worth sharing, don't forget to like, share with friends, and subscribe to Top 10 Discoveries Official, where we bring you jaw-dropping discoveries, epic projects, and untold stories from around the globe. We'll be back with more wonders, more mega projects, and more questions that aren't easy to answer. See you in the next one.